everyone. I'm Max.
And I'm Marla. Welcome to our Pacific adventure.
When we last talked to you, we had just left Australia, and since then we've been to Indonesia, Malaysia, and Singapore. And one item of note, and it'll probably be reoccurring throughout this video, is Mother Nature has definitely cranked up the furnace in this part of the world. It's been hot.
Very hot. On this adventure, I'll start with Bali, which was our first stop. It was a beautiful place to visit. We hired a private driver. His name was Nova, and he thought it was very funny because his car that he was driving was an Innova. But Bali was beautiful. It's about 4.5 million people, crazy, crazy drivers. The roads are not very wide. And besides, just regular cars on the roads, you have probably 3 times as many people on motorcycles just skirting in and out of traffic. It's crazy. Little kids sitting between parents, no helmet. It was crazy. But our first stop was Uluwatu Temple. We picked this destination. It was high up on a cliff, and it's a very beautiful temple. Dates back to early 11th century, I believe. It's one of Bali's 6 spiritual temples that protect the island. One of the things you have to be careful of when you go there is the Macau monkeys. They run around everywhere. They're just wild, and they tell you, make sure you take off your hat, take off your sunglasses, don't have anything, especially food wise, but anything at all that they could easily grab because they will take it. And they want you to give them food in exchange for getting your item back. Also, at this temple, we had to have our knees covered, so both Dennis and I had to wear a sarong. It's just part of the spiritualness of the temple. So we were on our way there, and we were stopped by these trucks carrying these huge statues that were made from styrofoam, and they were to celebrate the night before they have their big day of silence, which truly the whole city shuts down. No ports are open, the airports aren't open. People just stay in their homes, and no television, nothing. They just stay in their homes and meditate and pray. But the night before that, they have a parade called the Ogo Ogo Parade, and they have all of these. Each little area has their own little float that are made of these styrofoam um, statues, which it was really interesting to watch. We actually had to pull off the road, and it was a great photo opportunity for us, so we didn't mind. After that, we went to, it's called the GWK Cultural Park. This area it's a beautiful park. It covers 150 acres, sorry. But the main part of it is they have 3 large statues. The largest is the GWK statue, which is humongous. It's 13% bigger, taller, I guess I should say, than the Statue of Liberty. The other 2 are the Vishnu statue and the Garuda statue. The Vishnu statue is a large statue that depicts the Hindu god of Vishnu, and the Garuda statue is a mythical eagle-like creature, and the Mount of Vishnu. So it was a beautiful day, very warm. We you know, we enjoyed everything we saw, and we tried to do it very quickly. In fact, Nova kept saying, "You guys are so quick," because he did go with us into the Uluwatu temple, but he did not go into the park with us. So after that, on our way back, we asked if we could stop someplace. He chose for a local beer and a snack, and we actually bought Nova a beer. He ended up not sitting with us because he wanted to go smoke a cigarette, but we bought him a beer, and then we headed back to the ship. After, I think, a day or 2 at sea, we were in Kuala Lumpur, and
Better known as KL
yes,
going
KL. Yeah,
forward because it's
we'll just call it KL. We hired a private driver here also. It's just easier. It was about an hour from the port into the actual city. Our driver here was Asman, and he was very nice. He just loved to laugh, and he was fun. Um, but he took us to our first stop, which was Batu Caves, and it's another temple area. The main temple is actually up in the cave, and you have to climb 272 steps to get up there, which we knew, we had researched, but what we didn't find anywhere was once you get inside, there's another 100 steps that you have to climb. But luckily we got there fairly early in the morning, probably around 9 o'clock by the time we got off the ship, and so we beat the heat. It wasn't too bad. Again, this place also has monkeys. They really didn't bother us like they did. Well, they actually didn't really bother us at any place, but at the Batu Caves, they really, you just kind of forget that they're there. After that, we went to the King's Palace, and beautiful, beautiful grounds. It was more just a photo stop. They wouldn't let us inside. Unfortunately, they did not realize that we are, big social media influencers with over 30 subscribers. So, I don't know what they were thinking, but that's okay. We really didn't have time anyway. Our final stop at KL was the botanical. It was actually not. I guess it was, but Botanical Gardens, and huge, huge, huge park. It covers 226 acres, and originally we thought we would just, get a driver and go there and just walk around the park, but there was no way we could have walked that.
No.
Besides the heat, it was just too long of a distance. But so we chose two areas there: the Orchid Garden, which was beautiful. It covers about 2.5 acres and features 800 species of different orchids. Very pretty. The other stop that we did there was at Butterfly Park. It was nice, one of the largest butterfly parks in the world. It has around 5,000 live butterflies and over 120 species. And our last stop, just on our way back to the ship, we stopped at a Mercator Square so we could do a photo op, but we also got a picture of the second tallest building in the world. It's called the 118 building, and it's like a retail business, probably a hotel. I'm not sure since we didn't go in building, but that was a good day also. We got back to the ship in plenty of time and were able to, finally cool off because it was hot.
Yes, yes. Our second stop in Malaysia was Penang, and luckily the ship docked in Georgetown because, like Marla said, we've had 2 days where we had to hire private drivers just to get us around. But we docked in Georgetown, which is where you want to be if you're in Penang. And the city's famous for its street art, and we knew it was going to be brutally hot, so we got out early. Obviously, the street art doesn't have an opening time, so we thought, let's get out early, see that. And we explored some of it, but even at that early hour, it was so full of tourists, especially tourists from a certain country, which you all know which country I'm talking about. We don't even have to mention the name. They want to shoot 10,000 pictures that all are the same thing in front of everything. You couldn't even take a picture of the street art because they're all in front of it, taking turns with shooting 1,000,000 pictures. It was ridiculous.
And lots of selfies.
Yeah, so after that, we just gave up and we wandered around the city. We're enjoying. It has a great mix of cultures and architecture, and so we're enjoying that. But we finally end up at a shopping mall, and for me, the highlight was we had a Mickey D's lunch, and yeah, this was our first real, I say, taste of local McDonald's.
Yes.
It had the usual Big Mac and everything, but Marla had an Asian salad that was really unique, and I had some very spicy chicken strips, not nuggets. There came three very spicy chips, and I did the value meal, so it also came with fries, a Coke, and an apple pie. And for all of that, both entrees and all that extra, it came to a whopping $7.28 US. It was a true value meal. And the kicker is the apple pie was fried, not the lame baked apple pie that they have in the United States now. And instead of ketchup, they provided this SOS chili sauce that was amazing. They all replaced ketchup and have this everywhere. I think our final conclusion with Penang is we enjoyed the day, but definitely do not make it a bucket list travel destination. No. It's just not worth it.
No.
And so after that, we headed to Singapore, and this was obviously the crown jewel of this segment of our trip.
For sure.
Singapore should definitely be on everyone's bucket list, a place to be.
Yeah.
The city is clean. It's beautiful. We started the day at a place called Gardens by the Bay, and this is another just huge area. It's 250 acres, and they have several buildings within the garden. And, think of it as subsections within the garden.
Right.
And there's no way we could explore it all, but we focused on. We went to the Flower Dome first, and this is the largest glass greenhouse in the world. It's roughly the size of 2 football fields on the ground and 12 stories tall. And I would think of it, instead of a greenhouse, it's more like a climate-controlled indoor park. It was just amazing.
Right. Sometimes you didn't even realize you were in a building.
No. And then right next door to that is a place called Cloud Forest, and this was essentially Jurassic Park. It's roughly the same size as the Flower Dome. Right. But they had so many animatronic dinosaurs and prehistoric creatures, and they have one of the world's tallest indoor waterfalls. And it was fun to get around, especially beat the heat in Singapore, because it was only 96 degrees when we were here. And they have this mist, this fog all around you while you're in there, and it just cooled you down. And it was really immersive that way.
Yes.
But we couldn't spend our whole day at this park, so we finally left there, and we headed to a hotel called Raffles, and it's one of the city's most famous colonial era landmarks. Right. And within Raffles is a bar called the Long Bar, and this was the birthplace of the Singapore sling, and that's their claim to fame. But the bar itself, it's built to to be a replica of 1900s Singapore. It's the old rattan furniture, and just it's really a nice place to be. Way too expensive drinks. The Singapore sling, while you have to do it, was I want to say it was $35 US.
Oh, US, right?
And but I would definitely, if you're in Singapore, I'd say you have to do it.
Right.
And so then after that, we headed to they call it Merlion, and this thing, it has the head of a lion and the body of the fish, and it's actually Singapore's national icon, and it's the most photographed landmark in Singapore. And the same crowd that I think we ran into with the street art had followed us and ended up at this landmark. It was ridiculous.
Yes.
So after that, we went back to the ship. It was so hot, and we decided to shower and rest and have some dinner. And then we met up with our friends Peter and Dee and went back for round 2 of Singapore.
Yes.
And that was just a lot of fun. Peter and Dee are just great friends, and we just enjoyed time with them. But we started at the rooftop bar. This was on top of the Marina Bay Sands Hotel.
57 stories, I think it was.
Yeah, it's on the 57th. It's the rooftop of this hotel, and it's the one that looks like a ship across 3 buildings of equal size.
Right.
And we just had a cocktail up there, and that's a must do.
Right.
And then after that, right in front of the hotel, or I should say right behind the hotel, overlooking the bay, they have this nightly light and water show. Easy for me to say. And this thing lasts about 15 minutes, and this place was packed.
It was packed.
And there were so many people. We probably had to get there at least 30, maybe 45 minutes before the show.
Exactly.
Just to see a 15-minute show, but it was worth it. It's just sound and light and water. We felt like we'd just taken a shower. There's so much water that kicked up.
Right, that was blowing towards us.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then we just had another drink, and Peter decided we should walk back to the ship. We'd walked. We looked at when we got back. We'd walked over 12 miles that day,
Right.
and it's very unlike us.
Yeah.
We were about the last people to get on the ship. That ship that you had to be on by 10:30, or they were going to leave you behind. And I think we got on around 10:20.
10:20, yeah.
And so, anyway, that was our trip for this part of our journey.
Our journey.
And now we're heading to Thailand for 2 stops. And I think our plan is we'll probably just do a short video after Thailand, just because after that we get into about 6 or 7 days in Vietnam
that are back to back.
Yeah, and I don't want to make a video that has all that. So we plan to drop video 8 right after Thailand. So hopefully you all stay tuned. We enjoy your comments and we appreciate you watching. Aloha.
Aloha.